In the latest of my reports on Skills for Climate Change, I'm looking at the development of the learning tools that will support the programme. And here they are. As you scan across the list of the tools, I think you'll all agree there's been a lot going on. Well, I've come here to the home of BRE. It is in Garston, north of London, and I'm on the BRE's Innovation Park. And all around me are examples of the sustainable and environmental technologies that are going to be supported by the development of the learning tools. And the reason I've come to the park is that inside one of these buildings, I'm going to meet John Pratt. He is the consultant who's been appointed by Skills for Climate Change to develop those tools. Inside the fully modified home, John is being shown around by BRE's Development Director, Martin Watson.
So what sort of increased performance does the design offer in terms of thermal mass?
Well, I couldn't quite...
John himself has advised on development standards and qualifications for Summit Skills. They are, of course, the Sector Skills Council for Building Services Engineering. He's also been involved in the development of qualifications in areas such as solar thermal, solar photovoltaic systems, rainwater harvesting and grey water reuse. So what I'm trying to say is this guy certainly knows his stuff.
The learning tools were identified after extensive research by the project, and the key items that were identified through the research was the lack of understanding of what is needed in relation to climate change and the relevant skills, how to access those skills, and the sort of timeliness that's needed in terms of developing them. Everybody thinks that the skills are going to be needed in a few years' time, whereas the reality is that people start to engage in developing their skills now. We're almost in a situation where they ideally would have started 2 or 3 years ago. So, in particular, the tools are very much focused upon the engagement of the workforce of sectors, but also in removing confusion around what needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and how to go about it.
I'm back here on the roof of London's South Bank University and I'm delighted to say it's a glorious day. Now I say back because those of you who saw our first video will remember that I came to this very spot to see CEREB, the Centre for Renewable Energy in Buildings. It was then going through the latter stages of construction. I'm pleased to say it's now all complete. And below my feet in the CEREB classroom is Jaya Bevan. She's a senior lecturer and she's going to talk to me about her and her team's involvement in developing tools for Skills for Climate Change.
This unit here provides fresh air to this classroom, and it's got phase change material, which is an innovative technology.
And as Jaya proudly shows me around the new facility, I can tell you that the classroom-based learning tool she's been involved with is aimed at surveyors, planners, architects and teachers and deals with NVQ level 3.
We've got 3 installed panels of solar lighting.
And as we work our way back onto the roof to look at CEREB's fascinating new technology, it's also in the knowledge that CEREB itself will be used to demonstrate some of the technology that's central to the learning tool.
It's the tools that then help to bridge the gap between the teaching and the industry. So therefore it makes it very important. And why CEREB is important is because it hosts all of these technologies. It showcases all of the technologies which are the talk of the town today.
I'm sat at the back of the class here at CEREB. I haven't been a naughty boy, it's because at the front of the class is Matt Tinker from the University of East London. They have an entire faculty dedicated to the development of sustainable construction. And through UEL Connect, they've been responsible for developing the e-learning tools for Skills for Climate Change. They're also working on a mobile tool. So to find out more about that and other parts of the tool, I'm now going to go to the front of the class.
This is the Future Proof Your Career learning tool, which we developed as an e-learning package. Basically, it's a tool to introduce the learners into the issues of sustainability and green issues in the building and construction industry. UEL and UEL Connect, they develop a lot of e-learning tools. We work with external clients and we also work with internal academics as well. So we've had experiences with designing e-learning tools like this. But it's been a great project to work on. It's been a fascinating subject area, and we've developed some new and rapid development processes as well.
I'm thinking of having an extension to our house. and need some advice and guidance? Can you help?
Well, of course. What we usually do is come and see the house, talk through your ideas with you, and give you a quote. I could visit at 10 a.m.
This tool has a need to appeal to a diverse market, so you'll notice throughout the tool that we use images from people with different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds. We use voiceovers from people with different ethnicities as well. Also, a big part of the tool is appealing to the female market as well, so there are images of women in the industry working. And also to try and steer away from perhaps the sort of stereotypical middle class background. You'll see that we try to give the impression of people from a working class background and perhaps a middle class background all working together.
Well, this is really interesting to see the Victorian Terrace project here at BRE, because one of the key aspects we're trying to...
Back at BRE, and the weather has turned decidedly chilly outside. And as you can see, the buildings in view are more traditional. There's a reason for that, and that's that Skills for Climate Change and its associated learning tools have to tackle the subject of retrofitting on existing buildings if they're to have the desired effect.
It's going to be critical, really, that the skills are applied to the retrofit market, in particular in London, where the project's based. The huge amount of the existing property stock it will need retrofit. We've got around 50% of the new homes in the country to be built by 2050, which means that in 2050 around 50% of the existing homes will still be there, so they will need to be retrofitted as well to bring them up to the standard, so that we've got a completely sustainable housing stock around 2050.
These are the heat pump technologies, which is bringing the ground source heating and cooling to the base building.
It's a whole lot warmer inside the plant room at Sereb. As Jaya Bevan explains, developing the classroom learning tool also turned up the heat on her team. They faced some interesting challenges while developing it.
The heat pump technology. Well, definitely there's always challenges because it's a different target audience. My role initially with Sereb was to actually deliver tools to the industry, and you kind of think at the industry it's a different level of teaching. But this particular tool is aimed at level 3, so you're having to then tone down what you would normally deliver at level 7, for example. So those kind of were the challenges that we faced in delivering this tool.
The work carried out on the tools has created a twin-track benefit, both for the organisations that have developed them and, of course, the people that will use them in the future.
I think this is a innovative tool. I think we use lots of interaction within the tool to try and engage the learners. Throughout the tool you'll find interactive assessments and visuals as well. We're also in the process of adapting the tool into a mobile app as well, which allows learners to access the content out on site using their mobile phone devices, which appeals to a whole different generation and a whole different type of learner.
First of all, we're working with Skills for Climate Change, and is bridging the gap between the higher education and the further education, and also getting Cerebin to penetrate into this new market that we want to be in. So it's furthering our agenda to be seen as sustainable and delivering sustainable technologies to the industry.
It's going to benefit everybody, really, because the workers will benefit from future-proofing their career in terms of actually making them attractive to employers. If they're self-employed, and many of the businesses in the construction and building services, engineering sectors are small businesses, 1 or 2 person companies, then it will show them the business opportunities that are out there. And for the sector as a whole, it will mean that it can respond to the needs of the UK and the world.
In future video updates, I'll be introducing you to some of the end users of the learning tools, and also looking at cross-border aspects of the Skills for Climate Change programme.